guys, and I am one of that Brigado, and I am your coach of the Charlotte Beedrills, draft team that looks like Butterfree and Beedrill. And today I am bringing you the VDL Searing Shot Series 2 draft. There we go. We are back here in the VDL. Hoping to have a good time. A little bit of changes going on in the VDL, which I think is a lot for the better. But yeah, we're going to do a draft reveal. The draft started a couple of days ago, and it was a pretty quick draft. It only took about 3 days, so it was a lot of fun. But before we go into the Pokemon I picked and kind of synergies that I wanted, let's just go ahead and kind of explain the draft just a little bit. So last year in the VDL, there were only like 14 in the Searing Shot division, while there were 24 in the V-Create division, but now it's 24 all across the board. So the V-Create has 24, and so does the Searing Shot division, which is I'm in. So that had a lot to do with the different kind of it's a 14-player draft versus a 24-player draft are two completely different monsters that you have to sort of make a draft plan around and all that kind of stuff. So after all the coaches were revealed and the positions were selected, I got 22. And you're thinking, okay, that's at the very end of the drafting round. So a lot of the better mons are probably going to be picked before you, and there's a little bit of that, but there's also a bit of a benefit to picking later in the round, because it's snake draft, so it goes from 124 and then from 24 to 1 in round 2. So which means that I essentially get a wheel pick. It's not exactly a wheel pick, there's not two consecutive, but later in the draft it is so much easier to get synergies together when your picks are essentially right next to each other. So I had to really think about some pairings that I wanted and stuff. So this is when I start talking about the team. So for a little bit, I'm gonna go into my picks as pairs that I made for the first couple of rounds, first 4 or 5 rounds. All of my Pokemon that I picked kind of had really good synergy together. So first round I went with Tapu Koko, and then second round when it came back to me, we went with Liepard. So what's good about the Tapu Koko Liepard pairing is the fact that Tapu Koko can set the electric terrain with its electric surge ability, which can proc an electric seed on Liepard, which could be running the Unburden ability. So if that were the case, and it was the Tapu Koko and Liepard, then Liepard's speed is doubles, plus that +1 in defense from the electric seed. And what's good about Liepard's Unburden, it's really a pretty good supportive Unburden. Liepard gets a lot of really good moves. It gets both the weathers, so we get Sunny Day and we get Rain Dance. We get the fantastic Fake Tears, which is really good in VGC. We got Fake Out, so we got a whole bunch of really good synergy with the Liepard there pairing with Tapu Koko. But what also is good about Liepard is that it gets the ability Prankster. So Prankster is an ability where where status moves have a +1 priority. So if I'm running a special Koko, then I could like Prankster Fake Tears instead of Electric Seed, and then we can get a -2 in special defense on one of my opponent's Pokemon, and then just go in for a Thunderbolt, discharge, whatever, and just get a really quick KO. So really fun. It's one of the Liepard's one of the fast fake outs. You know me, I love my fast fake out. So be a whole lot of fun. And so next up is the next pairing. I wanted another Pokemon that could pair well with the Liepard. And I was thinking about some weather modes that we had, and I decided to go with Charizard. So what's great about Charizard is sorry about that. It gets solar power, so which Charizard's special attack is raised. Its special attack is stronger in the sun, and it loses a little bit of HP. And if you slap that with a Life Orb, then that's so much damage output right off the bat. One of Liepard's prankster moves is the Sunny Day. Another one of them is the Fake Tears. So there's a lot of synergy right there with that as well. So we can get huge flamethrowers, heat waves, blast burns. We could even run a rain mode with Charizard, because Charizard does get access to Hurricane, so we could do like sort of a dual weather Liepard if the situation calls for it. We get a rain dance off, and then we just hit the opponent with a Hurricane, Hurricane that bypasses the accuracy checks thanks to the rain. So a lot of good synergy right there. And then right after that, I got in touch with my front office. They're in the Create, Masenko, Matrix, and Mismag. Yeah, so they're my front office, and we were talking what was going to be the strategy throughout the rest of the show. So we knew we needed to help support Charizard, because Charizard is a Pokemon that does need a little bit of help when it comes to keeping it alive. Because even though it's fast and hits very hard, it does have that 4 times weakness to rock. So so we were thinking about ways to get around that. Originally, I was thinking like a Lightning Rod user to protect it from incoming electric moves, but didn't really make sense on the team for that. But but on the common rock type move in VGC, it's Rock Slide, and you barely need any investment on a Rock Slide to get it to KO a Charizard. You really don't need that much investment. Charizard's defense isn't really that great, and Rock Slide is a spread damage, and there's a move that you can use which would protect both you and your ally from spread damage, and that's Wide Guard. And so we were looking through the lists of Pokemon that had Wide Guard, and we decided to go with Hitmonlee. So what's good about Hitmonlee is it also gets that It also gets Unburden, but it's kind of more of an offensive Unburden. It's got good, obviously fighting moves. It's got It's got Blaze Kick for powering up in the sun. It's got like Stone Edge, Raccoon, good rock coverage. So it's a decent mon with decent amount of coverage. But also the Electric Seed really helps Hitmonlee, because Hitmonlee's defense is trash compared to its special defense. So if we give the Electric Seed to Hitmonlee instead of the Liepard, then it comes onto the field with a +1 in defense, making it a bit bulkier, invest more in its attack, its defense, so it can live a couple hits. And it does the Wide Guard. It gets another Fake Out user. You can use Feints if I need to predict a Protect or something like that. So provides a lot of good synergy, protects the Charizard with the Wide Guard, and is a more offensive Unburden user as opposed to the supportive Unburden user with Liepard. So after this, we were looking, we decided, okay, this is the time where we start filling out your cores. So the cores are the starter core, the Fire, Water, Grass, and then Fantasy core, which is Steel, Fairy, and Dragon. So I figured out what mons I wanted for my core, but I didn't really know what order I wanted to pick them. And it really just came down to when these kind of counterparts to a couple of these mons decided were getting drafted. So we were looking at my Dragon type was going to be Latios. My Water type was going to be Barraskewda. My Grass type was going to be Gourgeist. And then my Steel type was going to be either Stizzle or Durant, one of those two. So, almost immediately after I picked Hitmonlee, Latios went off the board. So I knew that with it off the board, Latios was prime picking by somebody. Someone was gonna want Latios pretty soon. So I had to go ahead and take that to the top of my draft board, and it came back to me. I got Latios. So let's go to Latios. It's got a signature item in the Poldu, which I believe raises its special attack and special defense. So that's pretty cool. It's a Tailwind user. It's a very fast Tailwind user at 110. It's not a Prankster. It doesn't get any kind of priority boost, but if my opponent doesn't have that, and that'd be a good way to even speed up a little more. So, it has a really good special attacking stat. So, hits hard, decently bulky. Latios is bulkier, but we can work with Latios' defense and make it live some good hits. So, yeah, that was a good one. So, and then after that, I was looking through some of the teams, and there were a couple of rain teams. Both Pelipper and Politoed were taken at some point in first, second, or third round, somewhere around there. I know Politoed was taken was one of the first round picks, closer to Tapu Koko in my first round. But I don't remember where Pelipper went. But I knew there were a couple of rain teams, and we were looking to finish out the water floor. And we were going. Generally, your water water Pokemon is something with a lot of bulk. The bulky water is really good, like your Suicunes, your Lapras, that kind of thing. A couple of others that aren't really coming to that point. But what we were looking at is we were looking at Starmie and we were looking at Barraskewda, and we decided to go with Barraskewda. So what's great about Barraskewda is it has two really good abilities in Swift Swim, which could pair with Ring Dance, Prankster, Liepard, or Color Tail, which is a really cool ability that basically ignores redirections. So if a team had Indeedee or any of the Follow Me users, then I could honestly click a Dark type move or a Poison type move into those super effective things and kind of hide the Propeller Tail, or I could just go ahead and reveal that Propeller Tail. If I see a Pokemon that is kind of weak to Barraskewda sitting next to an Indeedee, then that Indeedee can click Follow Me all at once, but my Propeller Tail Barraskewda is going to ignore that and just target what I told it to target. So it's a way to get around. It gets around Follow Me. It gets around Rage Powder, and ignores Ally Swift. So really good abilities. Hits like a truck. Faster than a truck, and it hits like a truck. So good damage output there. All right, so okay. We're looking at my team, and you're like, Bryan, why is your team so fast? Where is your Trick Room answer? You started your draft league with a very bad team that had no answers to Trick Room. Where are your Trick Room answers? Well, this is one of them. And some of my other ones I've already talked about. A lot of taunt users. We got Prankster Taunt. We have Taunt on top of Koko. Pretty sure Hitmonlee gets Taunt. A whole bunch of other taunt users. I got taunt users galore on my team. But we also, we're talking about Gourgeist. Gourgeist is a Grass Ghost type. It has the ability Frisk, so I can see what my opponent's items are. Great in draft. And it also gets Trick Room in Prison. So, it's a really good way to bait a Trick Room out for my opponent, because my opponent's going to see the speed tiers in my team and be like, whoa, this team is hella fast, let's throw a Trick Room at. But with all my taunt users, I can pair Gourgeist with one of my taunt users, And if the Gourgeist reveals a mental herb or anything else, then I will know whether the plan to stop this Trick Room is to either use imprison, which would not only ban, but prevent my opponent from using Trick Room until Gourgeist left the field, or I could bypass that and just taunt the Trick Room user if it's like a Dusclops that's running Eviolite or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to stop Trick Room. The team doesn't really want to play in Trick Room that much, but it definitely knows how to stop Trick Room. And that was kind of the difference between my first ever draft league way back when and this one. I know how to stop Trick Room. So not too scared of Trick Room. It's definitely a strategy that I'm pretty sure a lot of my opponents are going to run against me. But it's okay, because you know what to do. And that brings me to the next pick, and it's the final one on the cores, because we got the Fairy and Tapu Koko, we got the Dragon in Latios, Fire is Charizard, Water is Barraskewda, Grass is Gourgeist, so it just leaves Steel, and we went with Durant. So most people know of Durant for its Hustle ability. And it's a good ability, but a little high risk, high reward. High damage moves with a pretty high base attack stat. But all those 100 base moves that you might want to use, they're now base 80 accuracy. So if I don't want to play into that, then I think I might have to do, or I could do the supportive enhanced stat. Durant has some really important moves. We can get speed control with Rock Tomb. We can weaken special attackers with the Charlotte, and a lot of other things that Durant can do. So, and this is a non-Dynamax loop, so I can't just run Hustle with the Life Orb, click Dynamax, and then use my max moves to bypass that accuracy check. This is Season 10, no Dynamax, no restricted legends. So it'll be a little risky to run the Hustle Durant, but it might be worth it in the end to run it a couple of times. Definitely the supportive set could definitely be something to look out for, as it's also a really fast Pokemon, so any fast supports, fantastic. So next up, we decided to go back into the pairing. So we're going back into Pokemon that have really good synergy. And we're in the lower tiers now. We're in Tier 4 and Tier 5, where it's really hard to get really good Mons in those tiers. So at this point, we've got 8 Pokemon, and there are 3 more remaining, and 2 of them are in Tier 5, and another's in Tier 4. We decided on these 2 picks to just go ahead and scoop into Tier 5 and see what Tier 4 has to offer at the very end. So we went with Haunter, and we went with X-Cloud. So what's really good about the Haunter X-Cloud pair is that Haunter has access to, well, I believe it still has access to Parasong. Could be wrong, haven't set this yet. But if it does, then, you know, we got soundproof, we got a soundproof X-Cloud there, so it would just ignore the Parasong, and the Perish counter would go on the opponent's side. And then I could just play a little bit defensively just to stall out 3 turns and win from there. And then it's all Gengar is also a Ghost type, so if I were to run the South group, I could do like a Boom Burst, and it wouldn't hurt Haunter, excuse me, and it would hurt my opponent's Pokemon instead. But what's also cool is that X-Cloud also has Scrappy. So my opponent had a couple of Ghosts that were a little bit difficult to deal with, per se. We could run like Hyper Voice to hit normal types. Ghost types normally. It's also got access to Terrain Pulse, so that works really well with Tapu Koko. Terrain Pulse is basically Weather Ball but terrain, so changes the type depending on the kind of terrain that's on the field. So generally it would be a electric type terrain probably with Tapu Koko, but there are other terrains, not really that I could play, but I could take advantage of my opponent's one. If they have like a grassy terrain with some water types, I can turn Terrain Pulse to a grass type move, and all the other terrain types as well. So a lot of good stuff. Also works well with Lifehard with the Fake Cures. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that those Pokemon can bring with me. Concert doesn't really need an Eviolite. A lot of the times it's good to just run a Focus Sash, or I could do like a Choice Scarf or a Choice Specs to make it hit hard and fast. We can do like Sludge Wave with Durant, so Durant's immune to the poison, and we get spread damage on the Sludge Wave. We can Shadow Ball for a lot of damage. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that brings. So okay, here we are. Final pick of the draft. Talked it over. We know what I was kind of looking at. We don't have a Quick Guard user. That's what we were thinking about anyway. And we were like, you know what? Lycanroc, Dust Lycanroc Midday. It gets Quick Guard, has high attack, high speed, priority attack in Exarrock. Pretty good for my team. So, but it wasn't really essential. It wasn't really an essential Pokemon I was really looking at, but it just looked like it could fit. So that's something you definitely wait for the last round to get. Something that's not really essential, but works. And Lycanroc is definitely one of those. But alas, about 3 picks before I could take it, it gets sniped. Someone takes it. Is it really a snipe if it's not really required on your team, but you wanted it? I don't know. But we had to get back with the front office. Luckily, all the boys were awake. My front office is the best front office, by the way. Anyway, so we were talking about we were looking at the types that were missing. We were missing 3 types at this time: Rock, Ice, and Ground. So I knew if I had taken the Lycanroc, then I'd be missing an Ice and Ground type, but I can't get the Lycanroc now, so what pick am I getting? So we were looking at Tier 4, and we saw a pretty bulky Eviolite user. It's actually wrecked me once in a previous draft league with its freeze drying into my Dracovish that didn't see coming. Yeah, I'm not very good at this game. Anyway, moving on. So we picked Piloswine. Piloswine's been pretty popular in VDL. VDL-B create, I guess, M&M's ran Piloswine last season, and they did really well in the tournament. They did really well in the Myth League and they made playoffs. I don't know how good Piloswine was on that team, but I know they talked about it a lot. So Piloswine's got some good stuff. It's got thick fat, so it's incredibly. So it resists the super effective fire and neutral ice. So they're still not super effective and not very effective. Fire is essentially neutral effective or not, and ice would be not very effective on a Piloswine. I'm not really sure how that really goes, but it also gets the Eviolite, so it gets a +1 in defense and special defense, and this is kind of my dedicated Eviolite user. I said earlier that Haunter didn't really like Eviolite because it's not really bulky. It's not really meant to survive a lot of stick around and just survive a lot of hits. It's meant to hit hard and go. But even with that, Piloswine has a good moveset. It's pretty bulky, 100 base attack, and then its defenses are in the 80s, I think. I think they're both either 80 or like one's 80 and one's 60 or something like that. So it's pretty bulky, a really good EV user. Gets access to the Ice Shard for priority, and 100 base attack stats. So Land OT is probably going down to a to an Ice Shard. It has the Oblivious ability, which would ignore and intimidate any kind of, if I'm not sure if Land OT was picked in this round, I don't remember, but if it was there, then I can ignore the intimidate with the Oblivious and send an Ice Shard, probably to KO, we'll have to pick out, but pretty sure. But it also gets Freeze Dry. 60 special attack isn't great, but I realized in another draft league that I'm in right now, the SBC, that I'm doing decently well in, Freeze Dry has done really good for me with Galarian Mr. Mime. So it was always good to have that Freeze Dry for water types that I otherwise really couldn't hit very well. So yeah, so it's a alright niche kind of on my team that I don't really need, but if the occasion calls for it, definitely has a really good chance of making an appearance. So yeah, that was the VDL. That was the Charlotte Beedrills draft for VDL-S Season 2. We're looking to have a good time. Teams fast. It's fast. Gotta go fast. Whatever that meme is. So yeah, the team wants to go first. It wants to hit hard, and then. But I do know how to slow things down and prevent a trick room. So yeah, so that's my team. Really looking forward to getting this started. I'm actually gonna have friendlies with most of my front office. We have one coming up with Matrix, who is also, well, really all of my front office would be, because they're so much better than me. I can say that because I'm the one running this channel. I can say when I'm bad. Anyway, we'll play him probably this weekend. Masenko is going to have a really fun battle with me in a couple weeks. We'll get more into that a little later. And then probably post-season, we're going into Mismag. All of them have been on the channel before. Really enjoy talking to them. Thanks all three of you for helping me build this team. And I hope I can make you boys proud of me. So, that being said, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna relax. Just got home from work. Time to relax. So, thanks for watching. If you like Draft League content, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, or don't. It's all good. And I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.